Hey, I'm Courtney Picou, and thank you for coming to the Reconnection Blueprint Show, where we share practical tools and strategies to let go of limitations, really hear God's voice for our lives, and embrace empowered living. And all this is so that we can impact our families, our cities, and our nations. And today, I have a very special guest, expert, Ms. Caroline Boudreau from Lafayette, Louisiana. So I just wanted to introduce you guys to everything that she is. She is a registered nurse and a certified natural health professional. And you're actually a major leader in the Young Living essential oil community. Is that correct?
Yep.
I want to make sure I had that right. The reason why I chose to have Ms. Caroline on the show is, just the wisdom and the practical knowledge that she brings to the table for people with the various techniques that she uses to help basically keep, the unity of addressing and keeping in alignment with the mind, body, spirit connection. So with no further ado, usually what I like to do is if you were basically at a party and you're introducing yourself to everyone at the party, how would you fill in the gaps of what I just provided?
As in for what I do, like?
Yeah, who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so, well, I'm really an educator. I'm a Young Living lifestyle educator, is what I like to say. And really what that is I help people just like you and me learn how to live a more natural lifestyle and incorporate that into their everyday life so that they can live the life that they love, whatever that looks like for them. So I'm really just about helping people up their game, up their frequency, be healthy, mind, body, spirit, and provide education so that they can access that education and be their very best. So it's really what I do.
Yeah, totally. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your story and your experience of how you got to really step into your power of impact the world in this particular field. Do you mind sharing some of your story?
Well, wow. This started not quite 10 years ago with a package delivery. But just to give a little backstory before that package delivery, I was doing the mom thing for the second go round. I had grandchildren living with me full time. And actually I had, I think AJ was 3 or 4 at the time. We had taken him in when he was 3 weeks old. And so we were doing the mom and dad thing all over again later on in life. And I was working at the hospital and doing the mom thing, and like, it was a lot of stress. It was a lot of stress. There was stress, and just life stress. And I wasn't young anymore. It wasn't like in my 20s when I was raising kids. I was in my 40s raising kids again. And so, just things took its toll, and I started having a lot of health problems, a lot of symptoms that looked a lot like fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome, among other things. And my father's a physician, and as a nurse, doctors and nurses are the worst patients. We're not really good patients at all.
Well, yeah, because y'all are caregivers.
Yeah, we take care of other people. We don't take care of ourselves that well. Anyway, so things had really gotten pretty bad, and I was down to working 2 days a month because I couldn't physically do what I used to do anymore. And so that created a lot more financial challenges, which created a lot more stress in the house. And I actually had been volunteering my time for several years with Swiftfire Ministries, Swiftfire International, as Girl Friday right-hand girl to Charnel Wolferton, who's the founder of Swiftfire International. And so putting in a lot of time there as a volunteer, and doing a lot of work there. And Dr. Charnel had gotten into Young Living and using essential oils because she was having some health challenges, and she had this huge transformation. And so I spent about a year working with her and the whole team, who were all using essential oils and having amazing things happen, like God things happen. And I was the nurse going, that's snake oil. Y'all are crazy. And for a year, I snubbed my nose at these people because I knew better. I was the one who was educated. I was the nurse. I knew better. And
so, what was the moment that shifted everything for you?
So one day, a UPS truck drove up. Oh gosh, I'm gonna cry.
That's okay.
And this big box gets delivered to my house, and I've got a 3-year-old on my lap. And I just broke down because I knew who sent it. It was Charnel. She sent me a starter kit. She gifted me a starter kit. And it was all a box of all these oils that I had been snubbing my nose at forever and ridiculing my close friends that I worked with in the ministry. And I just broke down. It was just a moment where God said, sweetheart, this is your answer. I've had it in your face for a year and you've said no every time, but I want you to do this. And I was just like, whatever I will do, I will do it. I will do it. And so that gift and having the gratitude of the gift was like the miracle. It was like the door that opened the miracle for the miracle. Just having that such profound gratitude that someone loved me enough to give me something that I had snubbed my nose at for a year, because she knew that she knew that she knew that she knew it would change my life. And oh my gosh, it changed my life. Within 4 months, I mean, now this incorporated lifestyle changes. It wasn't just about slapping on some essential oils. This also, that's not what we do. They're a tool.
I'm glad you clarified that.
Right, I incorporated lifestyle changes, and I'm telling you, girl, within 4 months, I was like a new person. It was shocking. Like all these symptoms I had just melted away. And I had energy and I wasn't hurting and I could sleep for the first time in years. And it was miraculous. And that's when I knew I had to know why this stuff worked. What is going on? Because people need this. Oh my gosh. And so the scientist in me started investigating. And I have been investigating for 9 years and I have not looked back. Yeah. So, and everything new that I learned brings me to 10 more questions to investigate. So it's just this ongoing process. It's just been the most amazing, God carnival ride ever. It's just been fabulous. So.
I mean, you was having me get misty-eyed over here too. And I'm like, oh shoot, I'm like totally feeling and tapping into that. Just the impacts that people have just by their generosity and giving. That always,
yeah.
I love people so much. And like, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've been able to be on the giver side of giving someone a Young Living kit. And so like, to kind of see that side of it is just beautiful, because I guess sometimes you just don't really realize the impact. You said something that I kind of want to tap into a little bit, because number one, I acknowledge and I love the fact that you said that, the Young Living oils, like it's not you just put it on and that's it, you're done. There's other things and strategies that we get to like incorporate into it. Because I mean, whenever I see clients or whenever I'm with people, I don't just say, okay, you just got to shift your mindset. I mean, yes, that's so important, but part of shifting your mindset is, okay, what are you speaking over your life? Okay, So what kind of habits, like what's your relationship with food? What's your emotion to some of this stuff? Like certain shifts, like it's not just one shift. It's like you had said, you know, there has to be the mind, body, spirit, a unity of the element of, all right, so we get to transform all of it, not just one area and then compartmentalize and come and hit this other area. So what was some other things that you, that shifted with you in your transformation, as well as bringing in and the more that you experience the oils and some of the shifts that happened with it? You know, I'm curious, trying to find the right word for it. I'm curious as what was some other changes that helped shift your experience? And now, I mean, and we'll get into that in a second as to what exactly it is that you do that helps impact lives locally.
Okay. Hopefully I'm understanding your question correctly. From when I started 9 years ago, from where I was at with so many physical problems, I've always been a person that, digress a little bit, that innately understood that we are mind, body, spirit as one. That there was something not quite right about taking one aspect of that and focusing on just that, without the integration of the other two. It's like in pharmaceuticals that they are mainly molecular components that they find in, say, a plant or something, but they isolate one molecule and create that one molecule and put that in a pharmaceutical. And we wonder why there's so many side effects and so many problems. Well, there's a whole lot of other molecules that are interacting in the plant with that one molecule that does X, Y, or Z that mitigate problems or mitigate, you know, bad reactions or whatever. But they've already taken that out because they're only looking at one molecule.
Right.
We can't do that with ourselves either. We've got to understand the complexity of the way we are made, the way we're created to function. And that is an integration and a coherence of mind, body, and spirit all together at the same time coherently. And so when I started, I was having a lot of body issues. And as the nurse, you know, who was trained to help people with body issues and nurse people's issues, I focused on all the physical aspect of how things were working, why I was in the situation I was in on a physical level. But over the years, what I learned was that little nagging part of me that said, it's not just the one thing, it's all of it together. I started to get bits and pieces and learn that, yes, my spiritual health and my mental health plays a huge part in what's going on in my body. And, you know, 9 years later, I now know that what we think and what we feel is actually dictating how the brain, so the hypothalamus is like the master switchboard for the endocrine system. And the hypothalamus calls all the shots and tells the endocrine system what hormones to produce and, you know, all the things. It's the big boss. But the hypothalamus is run by our thoughts and our feelings. So the big boss really is our thoughts and our feelings. So if our spiritual and mental health is not coherent and at a frequency that's vibrant, a vibrant, healthy frequency, then we can't expect our bodies, no matter what we do, to be in a good place. We're gonna have issues. There's gonna be side effects of that incoherence in the mind and the spirit. The body's gonna have repercussions from that. So what I've come to learn is that the lifestyle processes that I teach and that I work with clients on, you know, especially using the essential oils, affect at all those levels, because aromatically, the essential oils affect the limbic brain, which is where our thoughts and feelings, you know, play around. That's the playhouse of the thoughts and the feelings, is the limbic brain. The essential oils actually affect that on a very high level. And when we're talking about, what's that?
I was going to ask you, would you be able to like tap into like maybe being able to dumb that down for me a little bit of how it does that? Just briefly, because I think you just hit like I think why so many people struggle with the essential oils is not understanding some of how it taps into the brain and
Right.
like moves.
So when I say aromatically, I mean when we smell it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I take an essential oil and I smell it. That immediately triggers things in my limbic brain. So the nerves that are wired to your nose connect in the limbic brain. So when you have these molecules that you're inhaling travel along that nerve pathway, it goes directly into the limbic brain. And think of something like going to your grandmother's house when you were a little kid, and maybe her thing was, you know, chocolate chip cookies. And so every time you smell chocolate chip cookies, you have these wonderful ooey gooey memories of being at your grandmother's house. Okay.
Right. The felt experience.
Right. That is the limbic brain in action. And the opposite can be true. You can have a traumatic event with a smell that's associated with it. And every time you have a remembrance of that smell, every time you're around that smell or that smell comes into your field, you can relive that traumatic experience. Okay. Mm-hmm. So our sense of smell is a very, very powerful, of our senses, it's the most powerful because it's connected to the brain in a way that the other senses are not.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so this is where essential oils that are pure, and this is why the purity thing is so critical. You know, we get a lot of, in the past, we've gotten flack for pushing about the purity and the quality, but when we're talking about cleaning off DNA and cleaning off cell membranes and cleaning up the trash in our limbic system and releasing traumas, the gas station oils aren't going to do it. They're just not. They're not. Right. And they can be harmful because this is not a regulated industry. So anybody, right, you know, Jane Doe down the street can say, I'm making essential oils in my kitchen, and she can do it and she can sell it.
Right, and it only has like 5% in it. Okay, so the purity of the oil can help clean the DNA. Like, wow, I really like the way that statement is, like the way you just kind of said it. And I know it's totally organic, but it makes so much sense to me because I'm just really loving the way that you're taking the science and you're bringing it in of what I understand of like biblical principles and soul and emotions. Because like you said, the felt experience, I mean, like we take, like, let's take scripture for instance. I mean, how many people do we know, by his stripes I'm healed? They're sick, okay? Like they're in dis-ease with themselves. By his stripes I'm healed, and they're not getting healed. But the next person next to them is getting healed. Okay, so what's the difference? Okay, well, I can memorize scripture all day long, but if I don't like align it with my true be self, like if it doesn't, like if I don't inundate it, sometimes taking I love the way a counselor friend of me like coins the term of, so you've got semantic memory, which is like memorizing, like it's easy to memorize. And then you have episodic memory, which taps into the senses. Like we have the emotions attached to it. So if we go back to like utilizing this, like the oils and the senses of going back to that traumatic experience where we're in dis-ease because we're not at peace with ourselves or possibly with another relationship with someone else, that's when we become susceptible to disease and illness, or, you know, traumatic emotions that are trapped. like tapping back into that and going back to that space to clean up. I don't really know what other word to use, but to kind of clean up the experience of it to where that scripture can be applied.
Right. So one of the tools that I use is called raindrop technique.
Yes, tell us about that, because I know you.
And I love raindrop technique. Raindrop is like my favorite thing to do. I'm a raindrop technique facilitator. Raindrop technique is a process of applying oils on a person with light touch and energy techniques. Okay. Some people say it's a massage. It's not really a massage, but it is a light touch technique. It's a very amazing, delicious process. What I love the most about it is that it gives the person a good 45 minutes to just go in the zone and be with God and take care of whatever they want to take care of with God. It's their God time. I'm just the facilitator. I'm applying the oils. I always pray for the angelic to assist me and to be very active in the process. But just the oils themselves that I use, they chemically have been said to like clear off bad programming off of the cell. So we're talking about clearing off false programming. So we're breaking down and deconstructing false programming off of the cell membrane. Now keep in mind, each cell in our bodies is a little mini computer that has 8 gigabytes of memory.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that trillions of cells, like we're like massive supercomputers. Okay. So we're clearing off the false programming and we're resetting the DNA to its original blueprint.
Oh my God, that's so awesome.
So if we want to create from the original blueprint and be the creation that we're made to be in its original blueprint, this is a great way to help start the process. And for me, none of these processes have been an overnight thing or an instant thing. And they can be, but my journey has been a 9-year process of getting to where I am now, where I feel like I'm much more conscious of the whole how to manifest the most coherent best that I can be. It's work. It takes work. It's because we've been programmed. We're programmed from little kids, and you know, we're taught to sit in front of an iPad or a TV and watch a program, and we're programmed. So there's a lot of false programming running in our persons.
Not only that, like you said, like we're kind of we're supercomputers. I mean, we've got downloaded stuff from previous generations.
Yes, so, exactly. So, right. So science is totally in agreement with previous generations sitting in our DNA. I mean, they've done studies that have shown that, you know, we have our grandmother's trauma sitting in our DNA at the very least. So, you know, sometimes it's us who is what I call the disentangler. We're the ones who are the ones that are going to be the person that chooses to make the investment, time, money, energy, to do what has to be done to disentangle from all of those past traumas, all the way down the generations back to the beginning, if necessary. So, I mean, I feel like I'm one of those people, and I love helping people who feel like they're also one of those people, to do that. So, you know, we live in a high stress culture here in the United States. Everything's high, everything's super fast. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. So we're always in sympathetic mode. Our nervous system is always in sympathetic, which is the stress, which is the thoughts and emotions, which drives our epigenetics and signals genes to do naughty things, which we shouldn't be signaling our genes to do. So we've really got to learn how to get into our parasympathetic, which is the rest and digest mode. There's no bear chasing us. Let's get into the parasympathetic, take a breath. Meditation is really great. The oils are great to help with meditation. Jesus meditated all day, every day. Like he was the meditation king.
Yeah, he was like the calmest person on the face of the planet.
Like, because he meditated all the time. Like he went and met with his father all the time. Like he leave the crowds and I'm going meditate and I'm going pray. We've got to get back to doing that. And, we've got lots of oils that help with that. Okay, let's just decompress. Let's take a breath. Let's just slow down. The world's not going to eat. We're going to be okay. Because, we've really got to learn to be present. And I think with the whole issue of, by his stripes we're healed, and yet we're the sickest we've ever been in history as a people, human beings. I think it's really about stepping back, getting back into our parasympathetic, doing more of the prayer meditation, thinking on these things. That scripture is huge. Okay, think on these things. Really good instructions on what to think on, because what you think of evokes emotions, and thoughts and emotions, guess what they're doing? They're running the show.
Right. Totally. I mean, so I think what you said about being present is so like the connection, because you're not connected if you're not present. And like that was really to my face, because I would be in the room, but I didn't realize how much on autopilot I was. In which, I mean, like I had gotten so good at like being disconnected and being in the room, but not being fully present, in which my best friend would be like, "Are you listening to me?" I'm like, "Yeah, you just said da 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 da," and I could rattle off the last 3 things. I really wasn't present because I was working or doing something else. I'm a person that usually I struggle with. I'm not gonna say that I struggle. Like meditation and yoga and stretching is very good for my body type, because I'm like always on the go. I've got high energy. I'm constantly going at it. And because I am usually in, like you said, sympathetic mode, I have to be very careful about my weight and what I'm doing and what I'm eating, because I'm not really resting and digesting and just being chill. Because I'll look cool, calm, and collected, but I really got that little gerbil running on the little thing underneath.
Hamster wheel woman.
Yes, the hamster wheel. And like I have just this last month or so just really getting in touch and being like totally present and connected, because that's really what the world's missing. I mean, they are missing connection, especially from us. We are the leaders that are going to impact the world. And like I love how you talk about like what the raindrop technique is, because I have had the experience of one, but granted I was broken and I just I'm like, I'll do anything. I had vertigo, like I had stuff going on. And so I was utilizing, like my mom is in the Young Living community. And so she sent me to someone, and honestly, I could have cared less in the moment because I was so sick.
Right.
Okay. I'm like, y'all do the raindrop stuff, and while I'm here, I'm going to think about my emotional conflict as to why I'm having vertigo. And like, there was an emotion, like I had to do the emotional work of, okay, I'm trying to move forward, but I feel like I'm forced to look back. That's where vertigo is. And so I love what you say about the raindrop technique. It's 45 minutes of getting, like, aligning with yourself, your spirit, with God and the Holy Spirit, to really come at ease. I mean, what every single person wants in their life is to live in freedom and total peace with themselves and to trust themselves. And it's connection that takes that. It's connection with the spirit. It's connection with other people. A lot of stuff that's been going on is the coronavirus. And, I've been traveling a lot. And oftentimes people are telling me, okay, well, you need to do this, you need to do that. I'm like, no. The coronavirus is not my conflict. I am at peace with myself, and like I'm having cleaning conversations with people that I realized that our relationship wasn't great. And so I'm having healing conversations with people. I'm like being responsible. Um, I mean, so any type of stuff that's going like that's so fear-based. And it's like you said, it's the mindset. Okay. Like there is a scripture in Job that talks about, okay, what I fear has come upon me. Okay, well, if I worry about it and if I fear it, then I'm going to create it. I mean, Job lost his whole family. And so, I love what you said about like the mindset, because that, like, you just took the science and put it with the scripture of basically making the connection of whatever we believe, like it runs the show and it shows up in our bodies.
Right. What you focus on, you create more of. So where your energy goes, that's where the flow is. So if you're focusing on vertigo, guess what? You got more vertigo. It's really, Dr. Joe Dispenza has some great material, and I've recently done a week-long retreat with him. That was fabulous. And he is such a brilliant man, and he has such a fantastic connection with God that he's super, super humble about. Oh my gosh, so humble. I really respect him, and he's a science geek like me. So, I like get him. But he really brings the science of the mind, body, spirit connection, and how we are actually literally built to do this and to connect with the divine and to have a permanent connection with the divine, and like how to live a mystical life. I imagine this man lives a very wild mystical life because this is what he's made his life work. But people are getting healed in his retreats left and right. And it's not that anyone is doing anything. They are doing this themselves. It's a matter of returning to our sovereignty, because we are sovereign beings. So, I can have someone call me and have some problem and be very upset. And I can either choose to engage in that and put my energy and attention and focus and create something really gnarly, or I can observe. In my sovereignty, I can observe what they're saying and doing and have a sovereign response that doesn't entangle into any of that messiness, but honors and respects them from where they are. That's a big deal for me, is to meet people where they are, because we're not all in the same place. We have to meet people where they are. I heard somebody explain it some way that made so much sense. She was talking about using like an alcoholic, for example, someone who's just come out of rehab. They're not going to go to the bar and think everything's going to be hunky-dory, right? That's going to take some time to be able to get to the point where they can go in an environment where there's alcohol and not lose their sovereignty, and be able to stay sovereign and rise above and not drink while other people are drinking. Okay, so it's about meeting people where they are. So some people are still alcoholics, some people are just getting out of rehab, and some people are pros and it's not a big deal for them. And so if we just meet everyone where they are in love and honor, that's really where the magic is.
I think you just hit, I think those three words that you just said, meeting people where they are in love, in honor, is where the magic is at. Because it's magical, it's mystical. I think we put like some kind of energy on those words and made them kind of frou-frou. I believe that that's it. Love and honoring people. One of the things that I did want to ask you, and I think you probably may have already answered, what is a certain kind of strategy or something that you utilize every day to like help you like stay in alignment with yourself, mind, body, and spirit? I didn't know if there was a practical habit that you utilize for your success that we can share with the audience.
Yeah. First and foremost, I wholeheartedly 1,000% believe that every day using these essential oils every day, the Young Living essential oils, because of their purity. And you know, we could do a whole half hour on just the intention and purity that goes into creating this particular brand of oils.
Girl, we'll do that on the next summit.
We don't have that kind of time today, but just using them every day because of their frequency. So I'm adding something to me that raises my frequency, that is pure. Purity is a big deal. You know, you want to drink pure water, right? You don't want to just drink water out of the ditch. I mean, purity is a big deal. Right. So using the oils every day as a tool to help me stay present. I am learning at this point in my life to practice being present every moment of every day, because the past is, you know, I'm coming out of a place where I'm recognizing that my body is actually my unconscious mind. It's the same thing over and over. My body's used to it. Let's just do it. Let's get up. Let's go to the bathroom. Let's fix the coffee pot. Let's sit down, check the email. You know, every day, same thing over and over, over and over and over and over. My body has become my unconscious mind, not even realizing that I'm doing it. So I am choosing to practice presence, and I use the oils to help keep my frequency up so that my consciousness level is up, so that I can focus on practicing presence. So, you know, if I've got to maybe work on a project, I'm going to use something that's going to help my brain actually focus. If I am going to spend time connecting with God, you know, I may use some sacred frankincense to help elevate my meditation. You know, if I'm going to do some yoga or some exercise, I'm going to use something that's going to help my muscles oxygenate really well so that I have a comfortable, you know, time with that, etc. So the oils are really a huge thing. And I use oil infused products a lot. So, you know, it's not just a bottle of essential oil all the time. My whole day is spattered with essential oils and essential oil infused products, because I shifted my lifestyle over to those things and cleaned out all the low frequency, zero frequency things out of my house and replaced them with high frequency essential oil products. Because I choose to be ever more present, not worrying about the past, not being the past, you know, walking around as the past in my body, and not fretting about the future, because that doesn't do anything, you know, that does nothing but create stress, which signals genetic changes that are not good for you. So just being present, it's huge. It's huge. And it's something I choose to master so that I can teach other people.
Thank you so much. That is I'm definitely in the same space of being aware that I have not been present and practicing.
And getting a raindrop is a really good way to do that, because, you know, okay, I'm going to be present as the facilitator, and I'm going to help you, and I'm going to do the things that will create the environment for you to be present with God in that moment for the whole 45 minutes to an hour that we're doing this. And we're going to create the most amazing environment for you to be present for 45 minutes to an hour. So you get to do that. And plus it does a whole laundry list of other amazing things in the process. So
you know what? I can't wait to get around to doing one. Like we get to schedule one very soon.
Schedule one.
I definitely want to honor your time. So I know that you had said that you wanted to make an offer of a gift to the audience. So why don't you go ahead and share what you wanted to do with that?
Okay, so I have a very neat little document, a little PDF that you can download. It's called 5 Steps to Healthier Living. And you can access that. I'll give you a little short link here. It's bit.ly/5 Healthy Living Secrets, all in lowercase. So
Okay.
it's a bit.ly link. So bit.ly/5 Healthy Living Secrets.
And
you'll
we'll
have to
make sure to put the link on whenever we send out the interview.
right.
We'll make sure to put the link with it so that everyone will have access.
Right, and you'll have to put in your information and answer a few little quick questions, and then it'll give you access to the document.
Okay, cool deal. All right. Trying to think if there was anything else. I got so many questions, and I know that we don't have time to go. We could be here all day on an interview. You know, I just really want to thank you for coming on and sharing your knowledge and your wisdom with me and with everyone else. And honestly, just I really appreciate like what you said about meeting people where they are. Because I mean, I know that you have like a medical background, and being able to explain it to where someone like me, or you know, like being able to explain some of this stuff as a 5th grader, especially concerning the oils, because I mean, I've been in and out of the flow, but I've never really fully understood some things. Not that I really need to understand everything. I'm one of those that, okay, go walk off the bridge. There'll be something there, even if I don't see it. I'm like, okay, sure. All right. Well, I trust you, so I'll just go do it. So, but I know that some people, it is important for them to understand the why or understand, you know,
Yes.
things. I just really humbly want to just thank you for, you know, taking the time out of your day and just explaining some of this stuff and being able to put it all into alignment of how it all functions with mind, body, and spirit, so that we can trust ourselves and be in alignment with ourselves so that we can impact the world. And so I just really wanted to thank you for coming on. I appreciate everything that you did. And to the audience, I just wanted to tell y'all, stay tuned for the next interview for what we have coming up. And thank you for joining us on Reconnection Blueprints. I love you and can't wait to share what's next. Y'all have a blessed day.